questions. Come on, don't disappoint me. Don't make me make my team ask questions. Come on, you must have questions. What's burning? Here we go.
I don't know who this should be directed to, but how would you recommend getting into a field of work that you didn't choose at school?
Okay. So I own a marketing agency. I work in digital marketing. I did a degree in philosophy and sociology. And I did biology and maths. And honestly, I would just go with what B was saying, is that it's all about starting with what you love. So when you pick your A-levels, when you pick your degree, you need to be in something that you enjoy and that it's a degree that you love, that you can excel in before you then move into another area. For me, it was about working for a company that was perhaps slightly smaller, so I got to wear loads of different hats. And it was then in getting that experience and doing perhaps a graduate scheme or work experience, I found an area that I loved, and then that was an area that I then went into. But my degree in my school was nothing to do with what my career will be in the end.
So in my case, for those of you who are at my talk, and similar to Amy, I actually did an undergraduate degree in philosophy, and now I'm trying to just finish my master's degree in computer science, and that was a one-year conversion course. So specifically in terms of those of you who are looking to get into development, if you do go down a different career path and decide you want to transition, there is a wealth of resources that is available to you. You got conversion courses at your traditional universities. You can do self-teaching through things like edX, Udemy, Coursera, or you can do also the boot camps, which are now quite popular, and they kind of tend to be like 12 weeks, 15 weeks intensive, focusing on specific things. So don't worry about if you make a mistake, if you do want to transition, and what I'm saying is probably not just true for development. Find out what interests you, and then just think about what's going to work best for you, and you'll find plenty of resources for whatever it is that you decide you want to transition into.
And from my side, even if you start work and decide that this isn't for me, like, as you move through your career, having experience in different industries and different companies is only more valuable to the next company you work for. So don't be worried about making a mistake or changing tact or going into work somewhere else. It's all useful experience.
Awesome. Thank you, speakers. Next question. Come on. Where have we got? Come on, there must be some hands. Come on, you've got some amazing brains on stage here, some absolutely phenomenal speakers that are doing really amazing work. Someone must have some questions. I might pick someone in a minute. Oh. Come on, here we go. Pass the mic along, please.
This isn't really directed at anyone, but has a degree been useful in like the field you're working in now, and is it beneficial to have a degree in what you do?
Hello, you're right. So, I did a degree in film, radio and television, media and cultural studies. Bit of a mouth. Can you imagine? I used to be in nightclubs in Canterbury where I did my degree, and they'd say, "What course are you on?" And rather than just being like film or media, I'd be like, film, radio and television, media and cultural studies. I'd be like, what? I'd be like, just leave it. Now, I didn't intend to go to university at all. Totally done it as a fluke. Like, I just thought, all right, I might as well. And actually, that degree, what that did was explore the different avenues of things that I wanted to try. You know, I wanted to be a radio presenter, a TV presenter, and I didn't really know. They were just things I wanted to enjoy. But actually, what university does is it gives you options, and it says, okay, if you've picked a course that you've got an interest in, and you say, right, okay, I want to look at this aspect. So I did a module in public relations. We did something called TV Week, and I used to be behind the camera, in front of the camera. I did the uni radio station, and you have to explore every opportunity that you get. And to be honest, it is good to go to university and get a degree in something you want, but you can start right now looking into things that you've got an interest in. You know what, I'd love to give that a go, and Google it, see agencies that do it, people who are doing it successfully, reach out to them. And you know what? I've said this to my talk. Ask your mum, your dad, your friends, your family. There is always someone somebody knows. And if you just put it out there to the universe that you're interested in that, then people will help you. But my degree certainly helped me figure out things that I liked and I didn't like, and it was helpful. Was that the answer? Was that right?
Today
I
was
hope
it?
so. I don't know.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. Anyone else want to add to that?
So just to add on to that, I think also reiterating and adding to what you've said, whatever you do, whether you go to university, whether you do an apprenticeship, just make sure you take ownership for where you want to be and make sure you take the necessary steps. It doesn't matter whether you're at university or in an apprenticeship. If you're not reflecting on what am I good at, what am I not good at, and you don't put in the effort, wherever you are, your efforts aren't going to pay off because you aren't putting the efforts in. I think now kind of universities or the narrative around education is changing and people realize that university isn't the only solution. And as a result, I think universities are trying to become more relevant, especially in things like the kind of industries we're talking about where things change quite quickly. They are trying hard. And then some of the other benefits of university that Molly's mentioned, where you do get to meet different people and you get to have experiences like your TV week and stuff, that's also quite important, which is not necessarily like a strict part of the curriculum, but is an opportunity that you do get at university.
And I think it's as much about you and your attitude as it is about the qualification that you have. I did a degree in politics. I ended up going into marketing and now I run a business. So, you know, one had no real relation to another. I think going to university for me was about having a set of understanding how to study, understanding how to learn. It didn't really matter what the subject was. It was just understanding how to write at a certain level, how to interpret information at a certain level. That's what was powerful about it for me. It wasn't really about the subject. I would say, as we've said here brilliantly, I thought it's okay to make mistakes. It really is. And it's only with hindsight, it's only when you get to be as old as me, that you realise a year or two here or there in your early 20s doesn't mean a hill of beans. It does at the time, it feels really powerful. I had to go and retake my A-levels because I didn't get the grades I needed. And it was like the end of the world. It was tragedy. It was tears and wailing and gnashing of teeth in my household, and it felt like such a big deal. But I look back on it and I think it was nothing. I don't even remember that year. I mean, it was just unimportant. But it's very important I got the qualifications that I needed. How long it took me didn't really matter. So give yourself the time. Don't put yourself under too much pressure. But do remember, when you do get to that first job, it's partly about your qualifications and your background, but it's really about your passion. As soon as you walk in the door, your qualifications go out the window. It's what you want to make it. You can make that first job anything you want it to be. If you've got the commitment, the passion, and the attitude, you can make the difference.
Just really quickly, as of this year, Facebook and Google don't require you to have a degree to apply for jobs at the 90,000 jobs that exist worldwide. And a lot of the larger media agencies are doing the same because they realise that people don't have to be educated to degree level to start working for them. So you're going to see, for you guys, by the time you enter your job market, you're going to see a lot more of the larger businesses not requiring a degree. And I mean, you got a great example there at Becky. Becky hasn't got a degree and she's got an amazing agency that has grown and done incredible things. So, you know, it doesn't show who you are as a person or what you're going to achieve to have that piece of paper. But I loved my degree. I loved it.
Thank you, Amy. Any more questions? Come on. Come on.
Can I quickly say,
here we go.
Becky,
Yeah?
Terry had a really interesting stat that came out on our talk. What was it you said, Terry, about the careers, the average number?
For people leaving or entering the workforce now, they have at least 5 careers, average.
Yeah, so the average when somebody leaves education at this point is to have 5 careers. That's not jobs, that's different careers, completely different career paths that you're taking. It is very unlikely that you are going to know with confidence right now, sat in that chair, what you're going to be doing in the future. You can't do that. The world is going to change so much. And I think the question that people are worried about asking is, if I go and I've picked the wrong course, if I have picked the wrong apprenticeship, and I go all the way through uni and I've spent all that money, and I don't want to do it, have I failed? And the honest truth is, no, you haven't failed. There are so many of my friends that spent tens of thousands of pounds at university following a career in microbiology and said, if I ever see a lab coat ever again, I'm going to strangle someone. I don't want to do it. And they went into nursing and now they're having a fantastic job of it. You're much better off doing that than starting a career, getting on the property ladder, starting a family, getting into just working in something, then that choice is taken away from you. You can't do that because you can't supply for your family if you change career paths. So university, don't worry about it. Give it a go. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Thank you. So, question we've got here.
Do you recommend you follow your dream, the money, or just ride the wave in life?
Nice question. Who's taking?
That's nice. Okay. There's a Japanese phrase you might not have heard called ikigai. And it's basically when you have all of those things working together. So you have a job that you love, it's useful and it benefits people, and it makes money. And if you can find your ikigai, as they call it, that's when you're basically winning. When it pays well, you enjoy it, and you love what you do, and that's what you're aiming for. That's why everyone here is saying, if you're going to do higher education, do something that you love, because you're starting the first process. But find something that you love that actually benefits people and you can get paid for, and that's kind of like the dream, really. Anyone else?
Can we be honest? Can we be honest? It's so easy for us lot to sit up here and go, we've got it all. Isn't it amazing? If you want that, you want freedom, money, and to love what you do, you've got to go, you do it. What other choice is there? Because at the end of the day, it's easy to get comfortable for money. It's easy to make decisions around the people that are around you. I nearly didn't go to university because, real talk, my friends were going festivals, having the best time, but I went to university and was like so poor. And then I left and then started up a business. And it's not like in a film, you start a business and all of a sudden, like, the shop doors open and it's like, oh, I'm just so busy. It's a bloody sacrifice. It's really hard. And as much as it's easy to say, do what you love and you'll earn money, like, well, hang on a minute. Some people have to step back and go, what do I actually love? Okay, number one, so I suss that. I love doing that. How do I break into that industry? Well, maybe it's a hard industry to break into. Maybe you've got to take a lower pay cut, or maybe you've got to make a sacrifice by not hanging out with your friends and start investing in putting some personal time into pursuing that passion. So I personally feel like maybe there are someone out there who's just gone for it and it's been really easy and they love it and earn loads of money. But in my experience, by doing something that I've always wanted to do and still got goals to achieve bigger things than what I want to do, it's really hard work. But I was with my friends from university. I met them 5 years ago. No, 8 years ago. And I'm so old. Let's not reflect on that, people. And we met up on a Sunday. We had a Sunday roast, and they all said, "Oh, I'm going to work tomorrow, and I am dreading it," because they've all picked jobs that pay really well, and they're relatively happy. I've decided to do something that I love, and work really hard for it. I don't, as much as I've got a lot on, I never wake up on a Monday thinking, "Oh, I don't want to do this." That's what it's about, but that comes with sacrifice and a lot of hard work and a lot of decision-making that goes away from the grain. But one day you're going to wake up in a happy job, earning good money and living that freedom that you want. It's just hard work getting there, but it's worth it.
Preach, Molly, preach.
Wow. How do you
I
follow
just
that?
thought you need to hear that, do you know what I mean?
Wow. How do you follow that? I don't know. So I think it's a really interesting one. We've all got passions and dreams, but, taking a leap is so tricky and risky. So how do you make sure that you're secure and you've got, what you need to live, build a family as well, whilst following a dream? I'm a big believer of, take your time. I think people, if they're going to follow their passions, you don't have to do it immediately. For me in particular, I take my time. I know I'll end up doing what I want to do. I'll merge my career, whatever it might be, and that will be with the passion. But it might not necessarily be immediate. And as we said, we're all going to have loads of careers. So it doesn't necessarily need to be the first jump you take, but it might be, and that'd be brilliant. I mean, what an amazing experience. I think a vision without a plan is a dream. But without a plan, if you've just got a plan and not a vision, then you're kind of just following what everyone else wants you to do. So if you do have that vision of where you could see yourself, make a plan and do it.
I think there's a lot of planning and dreaming, but actually there's an element of take the opportunities as they come. So it's all very well having a big vision or a big dream, but personally I didn't have a dream. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Still now I don't know where I'm going to be in 10 years' time. I think it's just a matter of taking the opportunities that are presented to you and making the best of them. And that way I think we get to those 5 careers in our lifetime, because you do take a left turn here and a right turn there. And whether you love it or you don't, you realise that quite quickly, and you can move back into the right lane. So I think yeah. Is there more to say?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. One big thing is as well, don't ever compare yourself to other people and their journey and what they do. Because I've seen it where I've started up a business, or I've gone on and done something or whatever, and I'm like, why is this so hard? Why is it so difficult? Someone started up a business or they've done this. And their family are millionaires and they've got no struggles. So, you know, your progress in life and what you do might be slower, faster, harder, easier compared to your circumstances and where you position yourself. So you can't say, you know, I remember once, right, I'll be really quick, but I remember once I was at this networking, this event, right, and I spoke to this girl, and she sat there, and like, no offence to the way she talked, but she did talk like this. She was like, yeah, I run my own interior design agency. And I thought, fair play. She was like 24, bowling, like she was on The Apprentice, like fair play to her. And I thought, no, how do you do that? How do you start up a massive multi-million-pound agency at 24 years old? Because her mum and dad run a multi-million-pound interior design agency, and they've just basically opened her up a shop in Soho, and she's cracking on. So at the end of the day, if you're going to push something what you want to do, don't ever compare yourself. It's all about you, your journey, what you want to do, how you're going to do it, and make that count. And do it within your means and within your time frame. Don't compare yourself to other people, because that will hold you right back.
So the one thing I would say to that, I think, I'm now in my 40s, and the one bit of advice that I think I've been given that stuck with me is, it's all right to not know, but it's your job to find out. That's your job. So go out and experience things. If you think you want to go to university, give it a try. If it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. But what you should be doing is learning about yourself and how you fit in within the world. Bee's talked about different motivations and triggers. What makes you tick? Are you that logical person? Or do you actually want to feel with your heart? And sometimes it's just beneficial to sit down and think, how did that make me feel? And if you didn't like it, reject it. Learn to say no quicker as well. You have a lot to offer in the world, and part of that is identifying with yourself what it is you want to do. And when you get that right, with a few bumps along the way as well, you eventually end up where you should be, and it's all part of the journey. So enjoy it.
Good question.
Wonderful. That was really good. Come on, let's have another one like that sparks Molly preaching.
I'm going to have a break. No.
Come on, any more? Who in here wants to start a business? Who in here after today is feeling inspired? Oh, one. Come on, more of you.
Be proud of it.
Yeah, be proud of it.
Hand up, come on. Who wants to start a business? I definitely, more of you put your hands up earlier. Come on, more. There was more. We've either put you off, which means we've done a bad job today. Come on, there's a few of you there. And so what would you, so those on the stage that have started a business, what would be your one tip? If these guys here, if there's people sitting here wanting to start a business, what's your number one tip? Amy's going to start.
Get an accountant.
Accountant, nice.
Get a really good accountant. Don't try and be Superman or Superwoman. When I started my business, obviously because funds are low, you haven't got much money, you're kind of doing everything yourself, but you can't do everything yourself because you are going to burn out, you are going to It's going to affect your mental health. You cannot be expected to do your account and your graphic design and your website and your social media and run your business all at once. Surround yourself by people that are experts in those areas. Even if you take little bits of consultancy in accountancy, little bits of consultancy in marketing, get advice from these people without thinking that you have to do it all by yourself. Because otherwise, let me tell you, from personal experience, you will burn out, you will get ill. Running a business is the most rewarding, amazing experience that you can do. It's also the hardest. And you've got to be prepared to put in the graft if you're going to get the results at the end of it.
I also run a business. No, I think the one tip that I would give, it's really difficult to come up with these things without sounding cliche, but it's really easy to give up. And I don't think I can express that in any words. I think you would need to go through it to understand what I'm saying when I say that. You come up against stuff all the time and you're like, okay, I'll deal with this. And then every now and then you come up against a massive hurdle and you genuinely think, crap, I'm not going to be able to pay my staff this month. I'm not going to be able to do this. I've just lost a client. Where am I going to get that business from? I'm looking to get a mortgage. I want to start a family. It's when people talk about starting a business, they're like, oh, I need a website and I need an accountant and I need some business cards. Actually, what you need to have is the strongest willpower to balance everything else in your life. When you have a job, you get up at 9, you go to work, you do your job, you come home, you get paid, that's it. It doesn't matter to you whether or not that company is going to be successful. It doesn't matter what the future of it is. You're just concerned about getting paid. When it's your job, you eat, sleep, and breathe it. And when suddenly, for me, I was always an overachiever in my roles when I worked for companies. Suddenly, when you're sat there and your only limitation is yourself, it's really difficult because you know the only thing that's holding you back is yourself. And suddenly you're like, I want to give up everything. I don't want to have a family. I don't want to do any of this other stuff. I just want to make my business awesome and amazing. And you can't. You have to balance it. So I'd say my tip is you need to have really strong mental strength. You need to be able to stop and put it down and focus on what's important sometimes. It sounds counterintuitive, but you do need to have that skill.
Can I add to that?
Really?
I've got something to say. No, I'm joking. Well, no, the thing is, when you first start up a business, from my personal experience, I was working in London, stopped working in London, then I had about $2,000 in savings, and I lived off that. But at the same time, is you want to be self-sufficient from the very beginning. I've got a family member who started up a business, thought it was going to be bigger than what it was, and didn't understand the hard journey of developing clients and getting monthly money in. And so he was acting like a genuine business owner, but doing all of expenditure and business cards. He had to stop running that business to go get a full-time job to pay off that business card. So at the end of the day, you've got to be self-sufficient. Whether you're living off, this is my personal advice: is you take it or leave it. But I feel like if you're going to make that sacrifice of run a business, go work in Costa Coffee, go work in McDonald's, or get a part-time job, or have a full-time job and do it on the side. Or do something so you're self-sufficient. Don't rely on other people's money. Don't rely on credit cards. Figure out how you can make it work for yourself by either working, for cheap and then building up your skills and then charging more money, or having a side job on the side and get used to having your own money and looking after yourself and build up from there, because at least then you always look after yourself and not have to rely on anybody else.
Lovely. Any other questions?